We're live on Radio Row with former second-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1998, defensive end Jeremy Staat. Jeremy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, and you?
Doing great, man. Now, you're walking around today. You served in our military. Thank you very much. United States Marine Corps in 2006. And the story of how you got into the Marine Corps in 2006 is fascinating because your best friend was Pat Tillman.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a great friend of mine. He was also a teammate of mine, at Arizona State. And we also had shared the same agent when we were in the league. And the guy's a fascinating person, and one of the good things I'm here to kind of spread the awareness about is Pat Tillman and all those who have passed, and fallen in Iraq and Afghanistan, and also to bring awareness to, the 22 veterans a day that we lose to suicide. Many Americans go through their lives not realizing that we've actually lost more veterans to suicide than we have in combat zones going all the way back to World War II. For example, you take the Vietnam veterans, 52,000 veterans were killed in Vietnam. 50% of that was by friendly fire. We've actually lost 178,000 Vietnam veterans to suicide that we know about. And out of the 8,000 in Iraq and Afghanistan that we've lost, we've already surpassed that number in suicides. So it's crazy that the world's most dangerous place for our veterans isn't in a combat zone. It's right here in the United States.
Well, how do we stop that? How do we help?
We've got to give them a reason to live. We got to give them a reason to live. No, it's great when you see different charities and stuff and they want to give them a house or a free fishing trip and stuff like that, but that's all temporary stuff. We need to find a way to keep these guys alive and a reason to wake up. And the whole reason I'm here is because I had the opportunity to play in the Wounded Warriors amputee flag football game last night with probably at least a dozen, Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who were all in some way, shape, or form, an amputee, or there would be a double amputee or a single amputee. Stuff like that. I mean, for me, I know with the combating depression and anxiety, physical exertion is one of the best combats for that. And to see these young men out there running around on their fake legs, their prosthetic legs, jumping around, spinning. We had a guy who had one arm last night breaking up pass plays, over guys who play in the league.
Cool.
It's like, how does that make you feel? And it was great to be out there because one of the guys is missing his left arm. And so he was lined up on the left side of the quarterback. We're just taking up some warm-up drills, going some pass stuff. And he goes, "Hey, QB." He goes, "Hey, throw it behind me." You know what I'm saying? Because he had a right hand, so he had to turn to his right, so the ball had to be thrown behind him. Whereas in the NFL, everything is you want it in front of him or in the body. Yeah. But it was just cool to see this stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that you give these guys a reason to live. You've got to give them a reason to live.
Jeremy Staat, former defensive end in the NFL, he enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2006 following the death of Pat Tillman, his best friend. Tell us about Pat Tillman. What do we need to know about? We obviously, we've read, we've seen the movies, we've seen the documentaries. What's one thing that, Jeremy, you can tell us when you think of Pat Tillman, man, and the times that you guys spent together?
It's great. I mean, we've had so many awesome stories. I have to think back to my ASU days, when we used to run the streets together, we do our thing. But, Pat was just a stand-up, honest dude. I mean, he was the greatest guy that I've probably one of the greatest guys that I've met. And there's been a lot of people that I've met through my Marine Corps service and around here. But he was just a salt of the earth. You always knew where you stood with him. Sometimes as friends, you kind of like, "Hey, man, like your shirt, but, do you think you can wear it like this?" Pat would be like, "Dude, that looks stupid on you. Take it off." It's like you like that kind of stuff. You go, "God, you hurt my feelings." But, he's right. This does look stupid, But then you give him the shirt and he'd wear it. But, no, the thing about it is he was just one of those guys that, you never had to doubt where you stood with him. And if it came to blows, if you had to throw fisticuffs with him, get in a fight, hey, no big deal, nothing personal. The next day we're still friends. And that's the kind of person that I love to be around. And I would, you only meet a guy like that every once in a while. And I cherish the time I had with him.
I just want to thank you for your service. And, of course, the Pat Tillman story, it's my nephew's in the Marine Corps now. And,
oh, yeah.
So it means something, what he did and what you did to walk away from lucrative careers and sacrifice for your country. It means something. I just want, I don't know if you get to hear that enough. It means something.
You mean making $17,000 a year and getting shot at isn't a lucrative career?
It's crazy.
It's just. I remember hearing the story when Pat first hit the news, and I liked watching him play because he left it on the field.
Oh yeah.
And the sacrifice you guys made, I just want to thank you.
Oh no, the greatest thing I'll tell you a story about Pat is because we were on different teams and he was the Cardinals, and so we would get ready to play the Cardinals and we'd watch film on them. who the hell is this guy running around the field? He was hitting referees, you know what I'm saying? Leaving his feet, and you're going, where is he? I mean, one time he
Just nutty.
He oh my God, he got juked real bad, but he still tried to make an effort on the guy, and he jumps and like does this like fish flip in the. I mean, he's like horizontal doing this fish flip, trying to hit the guy with his head. But you know what, the dude, he's the type of player you want to be around. You know, I mean, he's the type of guy that you really want to, that you would lay it all down for him as well. You know, I mean, he really cared that way. And like I said, like last night, we've been at that football game, you know, and looking at even the support structure that was there for the Wounded Warriors amputee football game, you know, like Lola, who was a sponsor. I mean, these guys, they're a combat footwear manufacturer, and they're in support of SEAL Team 6, trying to get these guys the best equipment, you know. And Pat was kind of the same way. When we played together, he was a great support and a great piece of armory to have on the field, you know, because you know he was always going to leave it out there for you.
Jeremy Staat, former defensive end in the NFL, friends with Pat Tillman. It's cool because you're bringing back some memories to me talking to you about Chris Kyle, because I'm from Dallas, born and raised.
Yeah.
And I had Chris on my radio show in Dallas about half a dozen times. We were friendly, we were acquaintances, and that was the guy that would always come on and we'd want to talk about him. And every time we tried to talk about him, he would say, "You guys realize how many people are here who fought for our country who aren't right? It took me time to get right mentally. I'm right. I'm trying to get back." And of course, if you've seen the movie American Sniper, you know how his life ended. But just I love talking to you about this. It's kind of making it a little real for
It's
me.
the same thing, you know. This, I mean, and not to be offensive or you know, to anybody here, but you know what? This conversation we're having is so much more meaningful than anything else that's going on here right now.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Because Sunday, the game's going to be played. Someone's going to win. Someone's going to lose. Somebody might cheat, probably. You know, but by Wednesday, nobody's going to care. You know what I'm saying? And that's the stuff. But what we're talking about means something. This is the conversation that you guys want to have, if you could, at every time someone sits down here.
All right. So how can we help? What can we tell our listeners right now in Albany?
The biggest thing right now, you've got to give these veterans a reason to live. You know, it's great to say thank you for your service, but hey, get involved with them. Hey. A lot of these guys, they'll mow your lawn, they'll hoe your flower beds. I mean, I'm a welding instructor. I love the trades. I love getting out there, getting my hands dirty. Hell, I'll dig a hole. I don't care. But it's just things to give these people a reason to get out of bed. You know, I don't know all the answers, but I know that there's a correlation between veteran suicide and retired NFL players and their suicide. You realize it's like 50% of NFL players are suicidal, and we only saw it in the last couple of years with the big name guys taking their lives. It's there, it's happening, but I think the big thing is we got to give them a reason to live.
Jeremy Staat, former defensive end, served for our country in the Marine Corps. Thank you, man. It's good to see you. And Levack, tell them about our movement.
Well, we're trying to bring back the 5. We're reviving the 5. So I'm well aware I'm probably going to lose my hand on this, but can I get a high five?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. You can leave a high
Watch
five.
it.
Yes.
That was deliberate.
Absolutely.
You're here because of Bud Light, up for whatever, so there's your Bud Light shirt, baby.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for your
Jeremy
time.
Staat,
and thank you for your
appreciate
service.
No worries. Continue to fight, guys. Semper Fi. Hoorah.